Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Good to see you all again. This is Troy Vossler, and I'm here with the gener8tor Founder Series Spotlight. Today, I am joined by Brian, the president and founder of Frog Creek Partners. Welcome, Brian. To kick things off,
Thank you very much.
Please introduce yourself and your company. Tell us about Frog Creek Partners. Tell us about your background. How did you get into it? What's the genesis for the company?
Okay, thanks for having me, Troy. I'm Brian Deurloo. I'm the president and founder of Frog Creek Partners. We're based in Casper, Wyoming. I have been in business since 2016. Frog Creek Partners is an environmental technology company where our flagship product is the gutter bin stormwater filtration system. It removes trash and pollution from stormwater, thereby helping protect and restore watersheds around the planet. And I got into the business because cigarette butt litter. I don't like cigarette butt litter. I never have. I've smoked, I've chewed, and all that stuff. But I learned one day that one smoked cigarette butt placed into a liter of water with 10 minnows would kill half the fish in 4 days. So one cigarette butt can kill 5 fish. And there's over 4 trillion of them littered around the world every year. And so I looked to find a way to stop that from happening to our planet. And so I've just grown Frog Creek Partners over the past several years.
I love it. That cigarette analogy is fascinating. You said one cigarette butt in a gallon of water kills half the minnows?
One cigarette butt placed into a liter of water
Okay.
with saltwater or freshwater minnows will kill half of them. Plus a lot of insects because nicotine is one of the strongest insecticides known to mankind.
Wow, what a stat. Tell us about your current status of the company. So whether that's traction, revenue, customers, fundraising, however you want to define that or whatever you're comfortable sharing, what's the current status of the company?
Okay, it's great. It really is. We have been growing. We finally found our niche market, I would say. It's taken a while. And we're set to possibly 10x next year in revenue. I haven't had to raise for a couple years. I went through 4 funding rounds and raised about $2.5 million over the course of it, sold equity in the company, did a little bit of convertible debt, but we've been profitable for some time now and adding staff, added some sales team members, and life is good. Life is better when you have revenue and you're
That's
in the
for
black.
sure. I like to say that sales cures all ills. And so revenue is certainly true for that.
Yeah.
Where is the company located?
We're based in Casper, Wyoming, along the banks of the North Platte River. It's literally 100 yards from my office that we can fish in. And Casper, Wyoming, interestingly enough, had the highest rate of smokers in America in 2015, right the year before I started my company. And so I estimate just that town of 50,000 people, there's about 45 million cigarettes littered in Casper every year based upon tax rates and litter rates.
Wow.
Can you believe that? 45 million in a town of 50,000. You've been to Casper.
Yeah.
That's where we met.
That's where we met. Man, fascinating.
Yeah.
Why Casper? Why Wyoming? Is that where you grew up? Is that where you're from? Or what makes
Yeah,
it
good question. So
a great place for your business?
I grew up in Wyoming. My dad was a coal miner. My mom came from a ranching family. I grew up in northern Wyoming, a town called Sheridan. Worked there as I was a mining engineer. I went to Sheridan High School, but then went to Colorado School of Mines to be a mining engineer. And long story short, I got out of mining and moved into the fossil fuel industry, coal bed methane, oil and gas. And then I moved from Sheridan in 2008 to Brisbane, Australia for an oil and gas job. Worked down there for 3 years and they transferred me back to Casper. So I grossed 16,000 miles, netted 142. So I got to Casper through a transfer from Australia. And that company, I was a country manager for them. And then that job went away, which was perfectly fine. The very next day, I filed papers to for Frog Creek Partners. And so that I set up base in Casper. Casper's nice. Wyoming is a sparsely populated state. It's the least populated state in the nation. It's very business friendly. I think the birthplace of the LLC is actually Wyoming. We've got access to good internet, power, people. That resource lacks. I mean, we've got great people, but you don't have the people to draw from for employment like you would in a place like Denver or Indianapolis or wherever. But the tax rates are good. There's no state income tax. I have access to politicians very easily. They're called the governor of the state a friend. I see Senator John Barrasso often at events around town. And the water's clean. We're at the top of 5 major watersheds. Wyoming is kind of interesting. Like the Columbia starts in Wyoming, the Colorado, the Mississippi, the Missouri, the Yellowstone, the Platte, all come from Wyoming. Start there, and Montana and Colorado, of course, Idaho.
And you're helping to make the water even more clean, so all the better.
Starting at the top, baby. Work our way down.
And now, so you went through our gBETA Wyoming program. When was that? And tell us more about your generator experience with that program.
Okay. I was lucky enough to get to know a man by the name of Dennis Ellis, who he and I knew each other from oil and gas. You know Dennis?
Yeah, shout out to Dennis and Microsoft. Thank you.
100% to both of Microsoft and Dennis. So thank you. So Dennis called me up during COVID one time and said, "Hey man, Brian, I've seen what you're doing with stormwater filters. Love what you do. Microsoft's looking at starting up an accelerator down here in Cheyenne. Would you be interested?" I said, "Heck yeah, I would." I said, "Sign me up." And I learned that I think you can correct me if I'm wrong on this. It was through TechSpark,
Yeah.
Microsoft division, and they worked with you states or flyover communities, right, to underserved places. Is that right?
Yeah, so TechSpark very much so focused on underserved communities to bring, technology and innovation and create a spark, TechSpark.
Yeah, right on. So Dennis asked me to be a part of that, and I did a little research and joined up. And we were the first cohort in Wyoming. 2021 was the year I went through, and it was really interesting. I won a startup challenge in Casper early on through the University of Wyoming, and they kind of helped, but it wasn't a proper. It wasn't structured as an accelerator. It was more kind of a help office and stuff like that. But I found gener8tor very interesting because we were going through a raise. I had like my second raise or something like that, and knowing how to put a pitch deck together, like simple, just keep why, and boiling it down. And there was basically 2 things, if I recall. It's been a few. I've slept since then, but our main thing back then was to put together a 1-page executive summary, front and back, and a 15 deck picture slide deck or something like that, and pitch it over and over and over again until you got good, understood your value statement, could talk in front of an audience, and then made friends along the way, which was really cool. I still see some of them around, and most of them I think are still that went through my cohort. I still talk to one pretty often, and I see Bailey, but I think 4 out of 5 of them are still in business, which is good.
That's really good. Yeah, since fun. I love to hear it. How would you say the accelerator helped you the most, Brian?
I like the mentor swarm, talking to people around there. It helps simplify my focus on some things around I can get too complicated as an inventor. My mind wanders and I want to do these things, and the accelerator helped me focus, refine what your ask is. You got to really refine who's your target, and instead of your target customer, who's your target ask when you're trying to raise money? Because that was my goal at the time, is to raise money. But I think it really defined my focus on what I needed to do to raise.
Yeah. What advice do you have for entrepreneurs and startup founders that are considering an accelerator program?
Choose wisely, my friend. I mean, there's a lot of accelerators out there. There are, and sometimes they're just started from a family office that's trying to give back, which is awesome. But I don't think some just aren't well structured. Choose something that's in your lane that aligns with your values and in the community potentially, Um, but I lost my train of thought, Troy. I'm sorry. What was the question?
Yeah, just advice. What advice do you have for
Oh,
entrepreneurs and founders considering an accelerator?
yeah. No, yeah, be intentful about it. I just know what you want out of it. Maybe like, what do I need to accelerate in my business? Some people might not care about raising and getting a pitch deck ready or something like that. They're more into networking or whatever. And you would know better what kind of accelerators are out there. But they become ingrained in your business. Like here, you and I haven't been through gener8tor in 4 years, and Bailey Evans, shout out to Bailey, reached out and said, Brian, would you talk to Troy? I was like, sure, yeah, you guys. I'm thankful for being connected with you, and I did. It really helped my business. So I would recommend, by all means, go through an accelerator, but know what you want out of it and choose the right one.
Yeah, good advice. Do you have thinking back to 2021 when you went through the gBETA Wyoming program, is there a favorite connection either that you made during the program or sometime after the program?
Um,
Like you mentioned,
in my cohort, one of my favorites was Ryan. Ryan Alborg, I think his name is. We talked, like I told you, I just mentioned him here a minute ago, and he has a business around sensors for oil and gas equipment and some other things. And he's stoic and he keeps on moving and he's positive, and I just like catching up. And I'm a fan of his. I'm like, keep going. And he likes to call me for advice, um, and he's a fan of mine. We could just kind of, man, that's great, good for you. We kind of keep cheering each other on over the years as we grow. But I'd say also on an ongoing basis, I participated in a mentor swarm a few months ago, and I met one guy on there and was helping him with giving some advice. In fact, it was like his third business that he was going through, and I'm only on my first one, but I've been slogging away here for about 10 years. And I was like, man, I don't know if you need any help. Like, he seems like he got it solid, but he did. He just didn't know it. And we started talking around kicking a couple different ideas around. I was like, and I gave him an idea because I'm an inventor, and he was coming from a business side. He's like, oh my gosh, that's a good idea. I'm gonna do that. Yeah, okay, go. It's all yours, free. Take it. I don't need it. You know. So just to answer in my cohort would probably be Ryan and Aldrich or Alborg. Sorry, Ryan. I don't remember. But on an ongoing basis, I saw that same guy at a disciplined entrepreneurship get together at with the MIT Sloan School of Management a couple weeks ago, and he's like, "Hey, Brian, thanks for your advice and thanks face to face, because Wyoming is a very small community." Governor Friedenthal, whoever it was, always said that Wyoming is a small town with really long streets, and with 600,000 people in the whole state, and so we lean on that network. We've got to help each other.
I like it. And then, the last question I always ask is, if you had one request or one ask to anyone watching this interview, watching this video, maybe it's an introduction to an investor, a customer referral, just mentorship or advice, what would your ask be?
Golly gee. What would your ask be?
I think my ask is I want more people who have a passion, who have an inkling around entrepreneurship to jump into it. Just, let this be your sign, let this be your symbol that this is your time and that you should jump into it. If you have a passion, if you have a good idea, and you have the ability to solve an interesting problem with a product or service, go do it.
Yeah. I guess the one ask is don't litter. Don't,
Yeah, I love it.
Please don't throw cigarette butts on the ground. Don't litter. Pick up after the environment. Let's clean it up together. And if you know of anybody wanting to do a big project out there, my big audacious goal is to raise $50 to $100 million or so to go out there and put gutter bins from New Orleans to St. Paul along the Mississippi River and divert hundreds of thousands of pounds of pollution away from the Mississippi and grow from there. So we're looking to form partnerships. That's why I call my company Frog Creek Partners, because stormwater pollution is a big problem that can't be solved alone. So we're seeking partners to do that. And anybody that wants to throw resources at it, reach out to Brian Deurloo, Frog Creek Partners, and thank you.
Let's do it. Well, I appreciate the time, Brian. Make sure to check out the link. We'll include it in the description below here to the video. Brian, such a great time speaking to you, President and CEO of Frog Creek Partners. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, Troy. Good talking with you again.
Likewise.